give you the vibes. Like I walk in, bottomless drinks. I had like too many to count margaritas.
Okay.
They had the food, blah blah blah, and then you go into the dance floor, and there's a DJ in the middle, and on each side, there's two dudes throwing ass
Mm.
in a thong. And
Okay.
they got, so I walked in, they even had dollar bills already hanging from the thongs. I'm like, I walked in with a couple friends. I'm like, girl, give me a couple singles. What you got? On this week's episode of Thursday Thoughts, we are talking about South by Southwest. Your boy was a panelist on this year's stage. The title for the panel was From Sex Work to Cornrows, It's Not Unprofessional. Good one, right? There was actually someone in the audience that was recording the whole conversation, so I'm hoping to get my hands on that so that we can upload it for y'all as an episode, because the tickets to attend South by Southwest is wild. It's like a couple $1,000s from my understanding. But as a panelist, you don't have to pay for a ticket. You get access to everything. And it's like not just the regular pass, it's kind of like a VIP pass. So your boy was in and out of everything, which, well, kinda. We'll get into it in the episode. To give you some context, in case you have not heard about South by Southwest, it's a 9-day conference that is held in Austin, Texas. This year's event was from March 10th through the 19th. And there's everything from conference style panels, a music festival, there's a section on film and TV, there's keynote speakers, comedy specials, exhibitions, and parties. Here are some stats on 2022. There were almost 43,000 conference attendees over those 9 days in Austin, Texas. There were about 3,500 conference speakers and almost 1,500 conference sessions crammed into those 9 days. Now, about these conference sessions, the way to actually get accepted, you essentially have to submit an application. So it goes through this review process where it's a combination of the South by Southwest committee as well as the public voting on the thousands of submissions that they get. I was fortunate enough to be selected from all of these submissions. So I flew to Austin for the conference, and I was there from Friday to Monday. And on this episode, you're going to hear about my experience.
It's a very unique conference, right? Because it's like a conference meets festival. It goes on for 9 days. Like, that's massive. And to your point of taking full advantage of it, I think that someone's first time attending, I would not be surprised. Like, your experience is probably common. I would imagine it might be a little bit overwhelming and or exhausting and or, just a lot to take in. And with so many things to do and places to be, how do you prioritize, right? And so when you say I didn't take full advantage of it, I just wonder, like, well, did you get out of it what you were hoping to, is the bigger question.
It's funny because when I'm thinking about how South by Southwest made me feel while I was there, overwhelmed was one of those 3 words that I want to get into. So when I think about South by Southwest and those 3 feelings, I felt overwhelmed, delicious. We'll get into that.
Ooh. Okay.
and inspired. But overwhelmed, let me tell you, so I had to fly out, I think, on a Friday. The Thursday at like 8 p.m., my Airbnb canceled on me. And when I tell you I had that Airbnb booked for like at least a month already.
Yeah.
And the Airbnb was like pretty damn close to the various hotels and convention centers where it was. So I would have woke up, walked a few blocks, got my coffee, gone to the thing. Now, I had to instantly fucking be like, where's the other hotels that are available? Hotels prices skyrocketed. Ended up booking an Airbnb that had like 0 reviews. But I was like, you know what? Somebody upstairs take the wheel. I'm going. But for a minute, I was like, I don't think I'm going to go.
Oh, man.
So I ended up booking
That's
Airbnb,
real.
and it's a little further out, not that far out, but a little further out than I anticipated being. And I think because of that, I was a little discouraged to, pay for the Uber or rent the little
Scooter?
the little electric scooter to go over there and yeah. And I'm not saying it was really far, but it was further than expected. And just the sheer number of events and panels and things that it's not even like they're happening throughout the day. Like if you look up the schedule on the website, you look up like a time slot, like, oh, I'm available at 1 p.m. Let me see what's available. Just at 1 p.m., there are 20 different panels.
Yeah.
So you got to be like, damn, do I want to see this person who I really love or this person who I also really love at the same time? And one panel may be 4 blocks away at some hotel, but the other panel at 2 p.m. when that shit is over, maybe 4 blocks away. So you got to finish that to run to the other. It was a lot. So I only went to one.
Oh, all right. Well, the one that you went to, tell me about it.
The one panel that I did go to was a keynote, but it was really an interview. I guess anything that isn't a panel with more than one person being interviewed is a keynote, apparently.
Okay.
And it was with Jose Andres. And he's this renowned, famous Michelin star chef from Spain, I believe. And he had a couple quotes in his talk that I was just like, mic drop. This man,
Gems.
Like he was talking about, he just got back from Ukraine. Before that, he was in Haiti. Any sort of like big, unfortunate disaster, he is there for relief. And when you typically think about disaster relief and support, you don't typically think of chefs. And he made the argument, he was like, food is what we need to keep alive. Like if I could provide my talents as a chef to help those in need, like I'm gonna do that. So he runs towards the disaster. And he had this quote around like, yo, I'm always at doing these panels and these talks around like how to end world hunger. And then I look at the stage of people giving their solutions and it's people that have never been hungry. He was like, how you gonna solve world hunger with people that
know the problem
that have never been hungry? And I was like, oh. I was like, you know what? This panel alone might have been all I needed for South by Southwest.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. And if there's anyone that you're going to catch, like Jose is definitely one of them. I've heard him speak as well previously. And I remember during, lockdown, he was doing a lot of work and I followed his journey. So that's amazing that you got to hear him. And that's really powerful because I think it speaks to so much of what we do.
Yeah.
Who better than the folks who have been there, done that, to actually say, like, here's the problem that I have personally faced, and here's what I think a solution is, versus, people who just don't get it. So we covered overwhelm, and now we are just talking about a chef. So I want to understand how it is that you felt delicious.
Yo, all right. So you remember how I said I only went to one event?
Uh-huh.
That's because I got in Friday, didn't do anything Friday. I saw Jose Andres Saturday. Then
Like morning, afternoon?
Afternoon, because I went to work out. Saturday, early afternoon, I went to go see him. And then the things are over at like 4. So I'm like, you know what? Let me head back. Let me rest up a little bit before I go out. Before I hit those streets.
Here we go.
And one of the things at South by Southwest is that there's not only panels, there's also parties. Like, and they're sponsored. So I'm talking about they have burgers galore, sandwiches, everything, bottomless drinks for hours.
Yeah, if you're going to South by or any of these like big events, just like know that you should not be paying to eat or drink anywhere, because the sponsors put a lot of money into making sure that they're throwing parties that are all inclusive to lure you in. So if you paying for food or drink, you're doing it wrong. But I digress. Please continue. I want to hear where you at.
Big facts. And also drinks like coffee. Like Amazon, for example, they just like took over within a fucking 10-block radius every single coffee shop. And it was just like sponsored by Amazon, free coffee from this time to this time. So in the morning, I would get my coffee. I worked out. Then early afternoon, I went to go see Jose Andres. And then at night, I hit the streets for this HBO Max party. And it was, I think, You know what? Let me get the official title because I don't want to get canceled. See, I want to call it a gay party, but I don't know the proper term for it. Actually, so I went to this party sponsored by HBO Balante. It was called Oh Stuntin'. Vibes and tunes spun by local queer Latinx DJ Papi C. It has a couple eyes in there.
Oh, okay. Papi.
No, the C. Papi C.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. Featuring DJs Chorizo Funk and Gabriela Lopez Bucio. So they were give you the vibes. Like I walk in, bottomless drinks. I had like too many to count margaritas.
Okay.
They had the food, blah blah blah, and then you go into the dance floor, and there's a DJ in the middle, and on each side, there's two dudes throwing ass in a thong.
Okay.
And so I walked in, and they even had dollar bills already hanging from the thongs. I'm like, I walked in with a couple of friends. I'm like, girl, give me a couple singles. What you got? Put that in there. I'm like, I'm comfortable with my masculinity. I was like, girl, I already helped this small business out. You help the other one. I was like, she got some more singles, put it in his thong. The music bumping, mad reggaeton, everybody dancing, chilling. But your boy was feeling like a snack.
Oh boy.
When I tell you the amount of dudes that came up to me and was like, yo, call me. Or I'm at the bar waiting for a drink and some dudes like singing Bad Bunny in my ear. I'm like, ladies, I gotta step it up. Cause I might have to head over. Shout out to Diplo. You feel me?
Oh, you was feeling real wanted.
I was feeling real wanted. I felt so delectable at that party.
Oh, I love that.
I just felt really good. It was a good time. But yeah, I mean, jokes aside, besides, that really fun time, overall, I think just being in that environment was really inspiring.
And that's your third word, so.
That is my third word. Even being in the epicenter of where the conference is and the hotels and all those kind of things, I had a few thoughts around, one, I can't wait to be the only person on stage and be a keynote speaker. Seeing that in the future of the vision. I see something like South by Southwest with all of these talk tracks. Like, they started off with education. Like you said, it's 9 days. It started off with education. Then there was Workplace Revolution, which was the track that I was on for the panel. And then it goes on into like music and film and various tracks, right? And I'm like, damn, like South by Southwest convinced thousands of people to not only attend, but sponsor and speak and do all these things around this like common goal. I was like, we could do this. And for us to start off with that event at Samsung and now planning to do future events, I'm just like, there's so many themes and talk tracks that we can rally around as a community and do things just like South by Southwest. So when people are reflecting about it, they're not just like, damn, there's so many white people here. Damn, I've never seen so many people that look like me and are on the same wavelength and want to do the same thing as me in whatever city we host this sort of thing at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now that you have gone to your first South by and you've experienced it, two things that I want to touch on, right? The first being that you didn't really see it as this big accomplishment or something to be celebrated. So I would love to know why. Why not?
I am in a financially insecure situation right now. So in my mind, I can only rationalize success if I'm being paid for it. I think if I was in a financially secure situation, I would have treated this as a success. But I think my insecurity is leading to anxiety, and my anxiety is telling me to focus on revenue driving opportunities. And when I get those, I can celebrate. This wasn't one of them, so I don't feel like I have the right to celebrate.
So capitalism got you, huh?
It did. And I'm not saying it's not worthy of celebration. I'm not in the mental capacity right now to feel like I should be celebrating.
Yeah. I mean, understandable of how you view success. Um, and I said it again, like, I hope you realize, if not right now, soon, that it is a success that you made it to that stage, because not everybody gets to be on that stage, right? You have to really like pitch yourself and make a case of, what your panel is going to be, what you're going to talk about, why it's important. And there are thousands and thousands of speakers that try to go and be a panelist. And have you ever tried to be a panelist on South by before?
No.
So this is your first time, this is your first time, and you did it, and you got there. And no, you didn't get paid, but you can now say that you are a South by speaker, and you made connections, and you met people, and you heard a great keynote. So I would say it's a success, especially hearing you say that there really weren't as many, Black and Latino folks there that were represented, whether in attendance and you were actually on the stage. You got, coverage because of it. So you're there, you're doing the thing, and you're advancing for the next person to come up and, who wants to be a speaker. So you're paving the way. So I think it is a success. And if you don't want to celebrate you, that's fine. I'm going to celebrate you, and I'm going to give you your flowers. So
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing the thing.
Thank you. And you know what? I'll close on this because it's interesting, this idea of pitching yourself, right? Because they literally open up at some point, South by Southwest opens up this portal where you can submit your pitch to be a speaker and you insert like what your panel is going to be about, who's going to be on your panel, et cetera, et cetera. I did not submit an application. In fact, someone submitted an application on my behalf. This was someone who already had a panel in mind about professionalism and redefining it. Someone who went viral in her own right about putting on LinkedIn that she did sex work. And when she thought about the topic of professionalism, she thought, I need to get Pabel on this panel. And that's the thing about creating content. The only reason she knows about me is because I create content on platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. So you don't always even have to pitch yourself. You need to raise awareness for the work that you're doing, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes people are speaking about you in rooms that you're not even in. So take that as some advice if you're ever doubting your ability to create content, or who's going to care, or who's going to get value from this. People are watching. Now, was that a message for the audience or for you? We'll never know.
I see what you did there.
That wraps up this week's episode of the Quién, Eres podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, please do us a favor. Wherever you are listening, leave us a rating and a review. It's going to help us in the algorithms to ensure that these experiences get heard by more people. See you next week. Peace.